Season 2 of The End of the Effing World continues the show's nihilistic romantic charm. And yes, even though the show apparently aired on TV in its country of origin, the UK, it is distributed by Netflix everywhere else, so yes, this is a streaming review. For those of you who don't know, the first season was a comedy drama created by Charlie Cavell based on the graphic novel by Charles Forsman. It followed James, a teenage boy who believes he's a psychopath, and Alyssa, a teenage girl eager to rebel against her parents as they run away together. And as it went on, things ended up getting progressively darker. The first season covered the entirety of the book and ended on an ambiguous note that had many audiences in agreement that a continuation was not necessary. But the new and final season takes place 2 years after the first one. It is about their lives after the events of the first, and that's all I'll tell you about it, both to avoid spoilers for the first season and because the advertising is pretty vague about the plot, so they probably want you to know as little about it as I did. It doesn't exactly feel particularly necessary, but it is interesting. Other than getting rid of the ambiguity of the first season's end, it doesn't really ruin anything. Also, it's nice to see where these characters are now. Now, for those of you who are new to this series, it is the style of some kind of indie comedy, but deals with some very dark subject matter. Despite this, it is funny without ever diminishing the weight of what's going on. It is very addicting. Every episode ends on a note where you just gotta see what happens next. The main characters are all screwed up in many ways, but somehow end up being kind of likable in a weird way. Yes, it is kind of a teen angst thing, but not enough for anybody who's over that kind of thing to really care. It isn't an overly edgy teen show, despite what the F word in the very title might imply. It's also not one of those shows about them doing drugs and having sex all the time. In fact, there's very little to none of either of those things. Though it has enough language and violence to justify its TVMA rating, it never feels excessive considering the nihilistic tone of the entire show. Anyway, Season 2 continues to explore these characters and their trauma, as well as introducing some new characters, and the result is something that is as engrossing and addictive as the first season. Though it doesn't exactly feel necessary, it is still surprisingly welcome.
It's the end of the world as we know it.